Fam, let me tell you the story of how the police followed Cat Matlala and managed against all odds to apprehend him and get some crazy recordings of what he told them. Let's also speak a little bit about what happened in Parliament yesterday and where we're going with this overall Mkhwanazi saga. Stick around and let's dive into it. Spread the fire, fam. Welcome back to the Mpofu-Walsh experience, or SMWX, coming to you from Cape Town today. And goodness me, there is so much happening in our country. It feels like South Africa is no longer a movie. I think we just need to call movies South Africa's at this point, because that is how much is happening. And today we heard blockbuster testimony from the Madlanga Commission. And I want to bring you up to speed so that you can understand why today's testimony was so pivotal to the story. And then after that, we'll talk a bit about what's happening in Parliament and where we're going in this overall saga, because as you know, there are these two commissions running in parallel. You've got the Madlanga Commission, which was established by the president, where these judges and advocates are trying to probe Mkhwanazi's allegations on the one hand, a very legal track. Then you've got a more political track where you've got MPs who are probing the same questions, but largely from the perspective of politicians, although of course there is also an evidence leader there. So let's start with what happened today, because I need to tell you a story that will blow your mind, even if you've been following this very closely. So where do we begin? Cat Matlala is leaving someone's house. We'll find out who later, according to him. And he's driving down a road in Midrand. He's actually speeding down a road in Midrand. The police are trying to follow him and are waiting for a moment to apprehend him, because they have decided that that day, the 14th of May, is the day that they're going to arrest him. Remember, Cat Matlala is this alleged kingpin, criminal underworld figure who has ministers in his pocket, if someone to be believed. His security detail includes people from high levels of the South African military. Yes, he poached people from the military to be like, please protect me. He's speeding really fast and the police don't reckon they're going to be able to catch him that day. But guess what, fam? Joburg intervened. He hit a pothole. Thank you, potholes, for at least helping South Africa once in our lives. You can run, you can have military people protecting you, but you can't get away from potholes. Cat Matlala hits a pothole. The police see this as their opportunity as he's on the side of the road. They pounce, and he's arrested. So I guess we have the ANC government to thank for apprehending Cat Matlala because of the potholes in Joburg. So now, Cat Matlala's arrested, and he starts singing. I was thinking to myself, maybe he was trying to get the police into a situation where he was making them feel like he actually had more to give them if he became some kind of state witness rather than if they arrested him. But in any case, Witness C, who is this person who's testifying at the commission, we call them Witness C because they are not revealing their identity for safety reasons. Witness C was part of this arrest and got these recordings from Cat Matlala. Now I want you to take a listen to this first recording, because you're going to hear Cat Matlala explaining a lot of the links that have now emerged between him and politicians, at least on his version. So let's watch this first clip.
So I did that January 8th. Even on my bank statements, I think you'll see them. I hope that doesn't come back again. Okay? My bank statements, you see, I hope that doesn't come back. The flight, the accommodation, I get them money or entertainment.
You gave them how, cash or
no, they won't give how, obviously it was a gift to this company with a Haula. If you see a company called Haula, you can be very excited to take money.
So that's Cat Matlala effectively confessing that he provided monetary support for a senior ANC politician's campaign to be the next president of the ANC. How did that monetary support work? Well, you've got to understand how ANC politics works. Cat Matlala was paying for delegates to go to an ANC celebration party. Why is that support for a campaign? Well, the way these ANC campaigns work is, firstly, you need to get delegates to places, celebrations, conferences, all those kinds of things. And if people are going to be your delegates and your people lobbying for you, then you need to pay for them to get there from different parts of the country. So Cat Matlala, this supposed kingpin, was paying for Senzo Mchunu, the police minister's delegates to the ANC celebrations in January this year, which were in Cape Town. So Cat Matlala saying he's arrested on an unrelated matter, and when the police arrest him, they take this recording and he starts singing, and he starts saying, "This is who I am. I'm the person who's funding the police minister, people." Let's take another look at this clip, which is about Shadrack Sibiya, who is a senior figure within the police, and you'll see how the story gets deeper.
Mr. Matlala indicated that General Sibiya informed him that he is buying a plot in Midrand, and the plot was to be registered under the names of his wife, and they are intending to convert that plot into a bread and breakfast. And for that, Mr. Matlala has indicated that he had given General Sibiya an amount of 2 million rands.
So Matlala is saying that he supported a plot of land for Sibiya. Apparently he bought 20 impalas for this land. And sadly, all the impalas are no longer with us. I don't know what it is with South African politics and wild animals at this point, from buffaloes to impalas. It's all happening, but now we've added impalas to the mix. And effectively, Shadrack Sibiya, this Deputy National Commissioner in the police, was getting money from Matlala, according to Matlala. Senzo Mchunu was getting money from Matlala. So what does that mean? That means that this very influential business person, well, that's how he styles himself, is saying, I'm going to have high-ranking politicians who are beholden to me, and I'm going to have high-ranking people in the police who are beholden to me, so that I can do whatever business I need to do, but I can also get protection and political protection if accountability starts coming my way. So when the police arrested him, he started divulging all this stuff, either to intimidate the police, to say he knew people who were higher than them, or to show them or lure them into the prospect that he could offer more information and he'd be more of an asset in some other bigger investigation. So we heard all of this on the basis that Matlala was actually raided about 5 months before. And guess what we heard about that, right? So the police pitched up at his house. They seized firearms. They asked some questions. But guess what? While that was happening, Matlala was flipping the script. So 5 months later, when the police arrested him again, he was saying, "Oh, hello, I know who you are. This is who you are. This is your identity. This is what team you're from in the police. This is your superior. Because I had intelligence equipment that was gathering this information when you came into my house. I was tipped off that you were going to arrest me." So Matlala was telling the police 5 months later that he had gathered a whole lot of information about them when they arrested him. Who's in charge here, people? Is it the police or is it Matlala? So this was the crazy story that we heard today from Witness C. It brings to an end a chapter in the Madlanga Commission, which is really these police investigators who were linked to the political killings task team. This task team, in turn, is the team that Mkhwanazi, the KZN police commissioner, was very angry had been disbanded. So why does this all matter in the end? Because ultimately what Cat Matlala was showing was that he knew where these police came from, and he knew that they came from the political killings task team. And he had an interest in disbanding that team because it was getting too close to investigations to him. So the question remains, was it all a coincidence that that team actually was disbanded by Minister Mkhunu, or at least there was an attempt made to disband it? Was that a genuine policy decision on behalf of the minister, or was that to protect his friends who were funding his political campaign. Mkhwanazi alleges it was the conspiracy to protect his friends. Mkhunu says it was just a coincidence. To be fair, we still don't have enough evidence to come to a definitive conclusion, but I will certainly suggest that right now, the Mkhwanazi version, although it has been challenged in various ways and on the edges it has been picked apart, it's looking a lot stronger than the Mkhunu version, for me, for now. But comment down below if you agree or disagree, and let's continue the conversation. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Let's turn attention to Parliament, because, as I say, you had this Madlanga Commission running, and then you also have the parliamentary investigation. Now, yesterday, parliamentarians got together to do what they do best, not really decide on anything for a very, very long time. But we did make a bit of progress because we got some kind of witness list for who will be coming to the committee up until the 28th of November, where ostensibly the committee's work is supposed to end. Now, there is absolutely no hope that the committee's work will end on the 28th of November. It's likely that it will be pushed. Now, friend of the show, Tara Ruas, who works in Parliament for the Business Day, shared this with me. The parliamentary term this year ends on the 10th of December. So we only have until the 10th of December. Now remember, everyone's going to go on holiday. The committee's not going to sit from 10th of December, probably into Jan, when the political year kicks off again. Then there's SONA. So the question is, and then Parliament starts gearing up for the budget, and so there's going to be a lot happening in Parliament. And the question is this committee going to end in early December? I also somehow doubt it. There's just too much information flowing. There are too many unanswered questions. So that means we could be pushed into early next year and all the scheduling crises that would go with that. We could be talking still about an ad hoc committee, maybe in Feb, ending its work in Feb, reporting in, March, April even. And so I think we need to start thinking of this as also a Q1 2026 question. There are still some outstanding questions. One thing I didn't get to reflect on yesterday, who are the witnesses who are going to come after the core witnesses have been agreed? Are we going to see the president testify as a witness? My view is it's an absolute necessity. There may well be other names that we need to hear from. So there is still a lot that we need to figure out from Parliament, and we are far from the beginning. But one good thing is at least the core witnesses up until the 28th have more or less been agreed, and I believe that Parliament's going to come back with a new schedule of when those witnesses are going to flow. Who can you look forward to? Next week, we're going to hear from Feroz Kachalia, the current police minister, and it'll be fascinating to see his perspective, given that he wasn't there when the allegations were made, but Senzo Mkhunu was placed on special leave and he's now had to come in, inherit this mess. To what extent has he got a different view from his deputy ministers, or does he have the same view? Does he concur with Mkhunu? Does he not concur? What does he think of the directive of the 31st of December, which disbanded or tried to disband the political killings task team? So that'll be fascinating. Who's going to be at the Madlanga Commission next week? I don't believe we have that information yet, but there was a suggestion in Parliament actually yesterday that it could be General Khumalo coming back soon. Remember, he mysteriously fell sick and then stopped testifying. This is the crime intelligence boss, so we could hear some new things from him. And General Khumalo comes with files, people. He just drops WhatsApp chats. So that is going to be something really fascinating to see as well. So we have a lot on our plate. As SMWX, we are committed to keeping you updated so that you can follow along. I know a lot of you have been saying you come to this channel so that you can understand and interpret all that's going on. And if you start following along daily, I assure you that you will be very much up to speed. So look forward to my conversation with Tara Ruas. We will be talking about what's been happening in Parliament. As she's a correspondent, she has insight into what's been happening in Parliament. So look out for that interview and keep it locked, fam, on SMWX. I hear you.